The Jim and Terry Show coming to you from the Hobbit Hole Studio in Bob Cajun on a sunny, coolish morning for a change.
It was very pleasant.
I'm hoping it's gonna keep on being cool. We need rain. We need cooler temperatures.
Yeah, and Sunday it's supposed to rain, and then I think it's going to get cooler. So, I found it very draining. I don't know about you.
The heat?
I've been very dizzy. I've talked to a lot of people who are dizzy, and I find it very draining, though I love summer. Don't get me wrong. I'd rather summer any day, even heat, than winter. But man, was that sucking the energy out of me.
Yeah.
And I have to put it down to that. And I think it's also the smoke in the air.
Yes.
Even though I can't smell it, some people can. I can't smell it. It's affecting my chest. Mm-hmm. And I think it's...
You mean your chest in terms of breathing?
Yeah.
Okay.
And my eyes, and I think it's affecting my dizziness,
So your eyes
balance.
would be scratchiness, itchy, scratchy?
Well, I have eye problems anyways, as you know, so...
But do you put drops in your eye?
Yeah, I put
okay.
drops
So are you using... See, this is where you can measure. How itchy are your eyes? How many drops are you putting in? Are you going through the drops?
It's not necessarily even itchy. It's more of a feeling them.
Oh, okay.
So I have glaucoma.
On your lids?
Yeah, I have glaucoma, and I had an operation for cataracts. So it's just how they feel.
Right.
And then this sort of little tipping over bit like vertigo.
Your inner ear.
I guess, yeah. Anyways, so it's been rough that way, but I will miss summer when it's gone.
Well, summer is a good time for all kinds of things. There's the Perseid, what do they call it? Meteorite shower. I don't know whether you got out. I got out at about 12. I think that was the latest. She said 3 a.m. I'm not there anymore. I'm lucky if I make it past 10.
Well, it seems like every event that hits in Pefferlaw area where I live, it's either cloudy or rainy or something. You never get to see what they're... And so I'm not going to go out and see it.
Well,
I did see the full moon on Saturday simply because I was driving back from my girlfriend's house, and I got to see the full moon.
That wasn't one of your kids rolling down the window as they drove by?
No, but one of the last fires in Pefferlaw, because when I pulled in the driveway, the teens were out the back. No, they're not teens anymore. I'm sorry. No. They're in their 20s.
Oh, boy.
We're out the back with friends having a fire, and it was nice. It felt like a good warm coming home. People were alive.
Except that now there's the fire ban.
No, you can't do it now.
Can't do it at all.
Yeah.
And I've got an unused fire pit. I think we used it once last year, and I told you I had the moral conflict. There was no fire ban, but I got the ethical conflict of, why should I be having this fire when people are raging out of control somewhere else? And it was empathy that kept me from lighting a fire.
Oh, you're a good man, Teddy. A good man. I'd have
an
a
ethical
fire.
compass. Okay. I was going to say looking up. The merits of looking up. I still enjoy going outside. And my daughter and wife and I used to go out on the deck and we follow these meteorite. When they came in August is the Perseid one that we always look at. But some of them are spectacular with the sky... like there's a flash of light.
Yeah.
And that's really incredible. But there are other things up there that are worth noting, too, in the realm of UAPs, UFOs. There we go, the Twilight Zone. Yeah, so there are a couple of things. One was this one about Africa. A guy with his cell phone saying, look at those 4 lights. And then the angry astronaut did a little show and said, that looks like stadium lighting.
It didn't look like stadium lights
because they were in a row.
Yeah, it didn't. And this was the argument of the African when he was saying, look, just come out of your doors. Come outside and look at this.
Right.
Which leads me to believe that he lives there.
Yes.
And leads me to believe that he knew they weren't stadium lights.
Yes.
And encouraging people to come out and look meant that he wasn't pulling a con, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So I don't think they were stage lights. I think it was something miraculous in the sky. And what are you going to do? They had that twice over Washington.
Yeah.
Where they had, 9, 20? I don't know what it was. And they still to this day don't know what they were. Yeah, so there are anomalies out there that we have no idea what they are. And it really is foolish to deny it because it's either an adversary country or which you have no idea where they come from, what they are, and who they are. They're either that or they're off-world or interdimensional things. It's as simple as that.
So how do you separate it all into one category or another? That's the job of the U.S. government and Project Blue Book, Majestic, or whatever those things were that they ran in the United States, or are they still running?
They're still running them,
Is
Terry.
Area 51 still got bodies of aliens?
You still can't get in there.
You still can't get in.
Yeah, and part of that is, I mean, let's take the latest that we remember, the New Jersey last year, the New Jersey sightings, which just went crazy.
Drew, CNN and the networks.
They sent people there to broadcast every day. CNN was broadcasting every hour on the hour about the New Jersey drones or whatever they were supposed to be.
And we're not hearing anything.
And then it went away with what? The fires in Los Angeles. Yeah, and you had sent me... I was telling you about the discovery on the moon. Now, I don't know what it is. There's many, many theories behind what it is. It's a complete metal disc, 300 kilometers around and buried 500 kilometers under the surface of the moon.
Okay, let's do an angry astronaut investigation of this and raise a question. We've got this IFL Science website that we pulled up, and it does show the first image at the top is a whole bunch of circles. What are all of those circles?
Well, it is in the bed. It is within that. Those are the circles that hit this area.
So they are the craters left from asteroids strikes or meteor strikes.
But the biggest crater, they say, is the most unusual crater on there. Now, listen, they're thinking a meteorite or a complete metal stone hit the moon and embedded itself 500 down. I find that hard because in most cases that would shatter. It would shatter, or the moon would shatter, but it would shatter. And
you would expect to find pieces as opposed to a big chunk.
That's right. And so they're not saying it's alien, but they're not ruling it out.
Well, I like the caption that said the structure has been...
The structure.
So you do a Google search for this disk on the moon, and they use words like structure. And that's where I go into AI conspiracy theory stuff, saying... With the language you use in your heading, it tells us where you really are going.
It's just to draw you in.
It's just to draw
that. Just to draw you in.
That's right.
And Bobby sent me it, and I had already seen it just the day before. And again, I listened carefully to, what they think it could be, a meteor hitting it.
With a lot of metal content.
With a lot of metal content. But the scientists say, that usually... a meteor that big, if it crashed into the moon, would shatter, not embed itself 500 kilometers into it. Now, the other theory is it wasn't a meteorite at all, that the moon was mined millions of years ago by aliens, and this was melted metal left behind from the process and 300 kilometers around, and it just literally
That's a lot of mining.
Dropped down to the South Pole, and that's where it is, and the moon's hollow to this day. By the way, those two satellites that we sent up at the very end, they crashed them into the moon, and I didn't get the rest of it, what exactly they got out of that.
They crashed them into the moon because they wanted to see...
if it rings.
Yes, if there was a sound.
And then another thing is the moon is a machine. It's hollow in there. There's just machinery keeping it going. The one thing we can all agree on is we don't understand the moon.
No.
Even the satellites, one of the reasons we're having a rough time landing satellites on the moon is because when we landed men on the moon, they could take control.
Yes.
While they're doing it all automated, the moon throws off their measurements, and it can't seem to compensate for that. The magnetics and everything else associated with the moon, and I'm not saying it's aliens trying to sabotage, it's just the instruments are instruments developed on Earth, and the moon is not Earth, and they're starting to discover that. One of the reasons Apollo was so successful is man ended up having to take over when the instruments lied.
So all the ones crashing are non-manned.
They're non-manned.
So here's another theory, is that the U.S. developed national expertise. It wasn't privatized space. It was national NASA. So I'm wondering if the crashes are now because other countries are trying to get into the space game, and they lack the experience and expertise of the United States and NASA. So stuff is going to crash because they don't have the history, the science, the calculations that the U.S. does because the U.S. went there.
Yeah, that's possible. The Soviets were the first to, I think, land something on the moon, wasn't it? Weren't they?
don't know.
I think they were the first, but I might be wrong.
I know they were the first in space, but
But the bottom line is everybody will agree to this, and that is that the moon is really not understood. Even now, it's not fully understood. And so I find that wondrous. It makes you want to look up and still stare at it and wonder how that big object, which is too big for its orbit, that doesn't spin and it should, all the different things, the perfect measurements between, the mathematics behind it all. And there it is, there it sits, and we're still having a rough time getting back
I
to
will
it.
never tire of going out onto the deck at night and looking up. The mysteries are out there, whether it's a UAP or the moon. Stay tuned, The Jim and Terry Show, for more out-of-this-world conversation. Bye-bye.
So the sweat of my brow and the toil of my hands has got me so far.